Welcome back to another episode of The Cure for Cowardice. I just finished making the last video, and another thought occurred to me that I felt like deserved a video of its own. When we are setting ourselves a goal, an end result that we are going to work towards, something that's very effective and very helpful for morale is listing not the things that we're going to do, but the things that we are going to sacrifice. Because if we say, I want to, let's just say it's a professional goal that is going to take, 4 hours a day for 3 months. Now, if you say, I want this professional goal and I'm going to commit 4 hours a day for the next 90 days in order to get it, but I really don't want to give up my leisure time. Every day I sit there and I get 8 hours of free time that I really don't want to sacrifice. It's like, you can't have one without the other. And for me, personally, I didn't have a problem giving up my leisure time. I didn't have a problem working long hours. I didn't have a problem even getting multiple jobs in order to make sure that I could support myself and pay the bills while I was waiting for my main job to pick up. But for the longest time, I was not willing to give up my altered states of consciousness. And specifically, I'm referring to my smoking of weed. Now, there are people who can do drugs and drink alcohol and not get good sleep and eat like trash and still accomplish the things that they want to do. The thing is, though, every single one of those things that you're doing is adding a weight to an already very heavy thing that you are trying to move. And what it came down to was, I was willing to try all this stuff. I was willing to eat better. I was willing to work out. I was willing to get my sleep in order. I was willing to do all these things. But I really still wanted to keep smoking weed. And that was like my one thing where it's like, well, I'll do whatever as long as I can still get high. I'll be fine. As long as I can still smoke. I won't have my anxiety. I won't have my stress. I'll be better in social situations. Which in reality, I was not better in social situations. I just had less fear around being in them, which in a lot of cases was not justified. I should have been more afraid and more careful as a result. But it wasn't until I realized that I've been in this same situation going on now, for the last basically 6 years, that I really needed to make a radical change in my life. And it was switching to this new identity that does all these things, but I think most importantly and more importantly than anything else that I'm doing or not doing is I stopped smoking. I gave up the one thing that I didn't want to give up, and now I'm finally starting to see results. Now I have the path laid out before me. Now I know if I continue with what I'm doing, I will get where I want to go, so long as I don't quit. So, everybody has that one thing that they're not willing to give up, that they don't want to give up. And and they want the prize, but they don't want to beat the boss for it. And the longer it takes you to give up that one thing, and you know what it is for yourself. Like I said, everyone's different, but you know what yours is. You probably already are thinking of it. The longer it takes you to give up that one thing, the longer you will have to wait to get the end result that you're looking for. And that's okay. That's the other thing about this. This can take as long or as short as you want it to. Because the universe said, here's the goal that you want. Okay, here's the price tag. You can have it whenever you want, as soon as you are willing to pay the price. But the thing is, most of us aren't willing to dish it out. And so most of us don't achieve what we are trying to achieve. And then we wonder why we're not satisfied with our lives. Like, look at the Western world. Like, mental illness is at an all-time high. Obesity is at an all-time high. Poverty is at an all-time high. The wealth gap continues to grow. And at the same time, it's never been easier to provide value to the marketplace and get compensated with money as a result. And so there's a massive discrepancy here. And I think that this may be part of it, if not all of it, which is that we want, if our goal were something we were paying for, we're not willing to dish out the cash for it. And if you have not been making real substantial progress towards your goals, or if you, in my case, couldn't even see the path to get to where you wanted to go, you knew the end destination where you wanted to be, but it was all cloudy, it was all muddled. You couldn't even tell which direction you needed to move in order to get there. If any of these are the case for you, try giving up that one thing. Now, there's a number of ways that you can go about doing that. None of them are easy. All of them are painful. There's different degrees of difficulty and pain that will be associated. For me, what I found was the easiest was adopting that new identity that I gave full permission to take control of my life, take it by force if necessary, stop my actions in the tracks that were not going to serve me. No matter how uncomfortable and painful it was, let this identity take the steering wheel in every situation, not just on weekdays. But as soon as you give up that thing that's holding you back, whether you want to admit it or not, no matter how you try and convince yourself that it's actually helping you, you know deep down. You know. And as soon as you give up that thing, life will open its doors for you, and you will start to see not only the path that you need to take in order to get where you want to go, but you'll also start making progress. So anyway, I think that's all I got for this one, but I will catch y'all on the flip side.